I should have done C.Y. Hilton because you picked the guy who sees Ghost, and I should have picked Ghost.
Exactly. Yeah. So we haven't done one of these for a little bit, and right now Jacob's riding quite the winning streak, undefeated as the defense attorney for his players. And this week we got a real one for you. It's the most talked about segment from our show to us. We're bringing it back for this week. So let's go. Oh man,
Billy, take your hat off, Billy.
I was hoping you saw the intro there. I'm gonna move myself down here and I'll explain why in a minute. You missed it, man, because you weren't looking. But it's the man without hats versus Jacob here today. It's a little inside league joke.
I forgot I was wearing a hat.
Billy blew it. Okay, this is how it goes down. This week we have the Paragon of Objectivity. Defending Michael Thomas over Calvin Ridley this season, which is a hot button argument. It's going to be a tough one for him to win. Billy will open with opening statements from the prosecution as to why this is egregious, and thus turning it over to Jacob to defend. Boys, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Court is now in session. I'm hanging out here with my number one, Judge Judah Scheinlin. So, Billy, hit us with those opening arguments, man.
All right. So this is a very fun one for me because while I was diving into this topic and preparing bullet points against Jacob, I found some very funny comparisons. Some things that we can just take a note of. So let's start off. Calvin Ridley, my boy, everyone's boy. Everyone on Twitter loves him right now because he just lost to Julio Jones. Yeah, everyone loves Calvin Ridley except for this man next to me. Now, Calvin Ridley last year played 7 games without Julio Jones. In those 7 games, he had almost 800 yards and 3 touchdowns. Reasonable numbers in 7 games. If we extrapolate that out to a 17-game pace, which is bad math, but worth noting, since he's losing Julio right now, I think that's fair. That is a pace of 1,800 yards, 1,850 almost, so we'll bump it up, and 7 touchdowns.
It's pretty good.
Now I want to keep note of those 7 games that he played. 7 games. In 2020, Michael Thomas played 7 games total. In those games, Michael Thomas had 438 yards and 0 touchdowns. 0 touchdowns. Keep in mind, 2 of those 7 games were against Atlanta, the worst pass defense in the league.
Okay.
The 17-game pace for that is 1,060 yards and 0 touchdowns. Look, I'm all for loving Michael Thomas as a value. I think he's a value. I think people are fading him and completely forgetting about him. But this is absolutely ridiculous. Calvin Ridley has more potential. He can easily get Michael Thomas target share in 2021. He's 2 years younger. He's on a better passing team and possesses more big play ability than Michael Thomas. All those facts alone should put him above Michael Thomas easily. I love Michael Thomas. I think he's fun. In research for this, I found out he was Keyshawn Johnson's nephew. Like, that's just a fun thing I didn't know. Also, he roomed with his QB in Ohio State. All that's fun to know, but we also need to know that Calvin Ridley is going to be a better fantasy and dynasty asset than Michael Thomas moving forward. Now, I'll pass it over to Jacob. He's going to give you a bunch of analytics. But I feel like I don't need to make rebuttal arguments at this point because I feel like this is the easiest thing But I'll give it to Jacob, and I'll prepare to make those rebuttals anyway. Also, I'm motioning to my computer that I have the stats on over here. I feel like I keep saying like I should motion over here. But I want to make it clear. I'm not an idiot. I know what I'm motioning to.
Oh, my God. Okay. That was fantastic. Thank you for those opening arguments. Counsel, you have a chance to rebut, if you would.
Counselor Milestone can motion this way, and he can motion this way, and he can do all of the King Tut dances that he wants. Yeah. But at the end of the day, his safety dance is not going to win this argument for him. How quickly people forget. Let me read you some stats, okay? 149 receptions, 185 targets, 1,725 yards. That's not a small sample size extrapolation of 7 games. That's an actual season that a person actually had, which was one of the best fantasy wide receiver seasons of all time, and that was Michael Thomas's 2019 season. What people forget about that is that wasn't particularly shocking because he has come off of the wide receiver 6 overall season, wide receiver 5 overall season, and wide receiver 7 overall season in his rookie year in the previous 3 seasons. Michael Thomas, when a healthy NFL wide receiver, is a guaranteed top 7 wide receiver literally every single season he's ever played, including his rookie year. Because, as his Twitter says, you can't guard Mike. Now coming in, everyone is down on Michael Thomas because of what happened last year. Let's just read out some stats from last year. He had a 27.8% target share. That's 4th in the NFL. 27.9% target rate on routes run. 19th in the NFL, 16.4% hog rate, 15th in the NFL, and Michael Thomas, slant boy, guy who can't make plays downfield, had, wait for it, a 42.5% air yards share that is first, number 1 in the entire National Football League. That's not from 2019, that's from 2020 in the games that he played. Now, we have seen countless examples of players having high ankle sprains, not being able to play at their full potential when they come back, especially if they're trying to come back too early. In fact, we saw one of those on the Saints in 2019 with Alvin Kamara. When he came back in 2020, he was Alvin Kamara again. He was scoring 6 touchdowns on Christmas. He was Alvin Santa Claus, winning you your fantasy championships in every single league that you had him. And we saw Michael Thomas get stronger over the course of the year. His last 4 games that he played in the regular season in 2020, he had 12 targets, 9 for 104, 6 targets, 4 for 50. That was playing with in the Kendall Hinton game. 11 targets, 9 for 105, 8 targets, 8 for 84. He was still having the elite catch rate he's always had. He was still getting the elite volume that he's always had. He was still the elite player that he's always been. He was just catching passes from a glorified tight end and happening not to get touchdown luck. Now he's probably going to get one of the most fantasy-friendly quarterbacks he's ever played with in Jameis Winston, coming in to be the QB1 for the New Orleans Saints. We have no problem whatsoever as a Dynasty community ranking DeAndre Hopkins and Devontae Adams over Calvin Ridley, who are both older than Michael Thomas and both have nowhere near the record of volume that Michael Thomas continues to draw, in particular, Devontae Adams. Michael Thomas is going to have an extremely fantasy-friendly quarterback. He's an extreme fantasy producer, and he's an exquisite wide receiver talent, just a year and a half older than Calvin Ridley. I will take that over the extrapolation of a limited sample of a wide receiver who has not proven yet that they are the dominant alpha that Michael Thomas is and has always been.
I got to admit, Billy's argument was real strong, but fuck, Jacob's got away with words that oh man, Billy, you're going to have to bring it, man. Bring it. Round 2. Let's go. What do you got? Rebut.
All right, so let's play. I'm glad I left some of these things I have on my stat sheet up.
I love how into it Billy is this time.
I was gonna use them all in the first round, but I figure I know Jacob. Jacob's smarter than I am. I'll let him go. I'll let him make all his crazy claims. So let's investigate what Jameis Winston was able to do as a QB, which you and I both agree, you sitting next to me over here will agree, Jameis Winston is the best option for Michael Thomas. Taysom Hill is terrifying. Taysom Hill threw the ball, whatever. That's what Taysom Hill did. But Jameis Winston is the best option. Jameis Winston had the number oh shoot, I didn't have it pulled up. Had a very deep depth of target going on in 2019 when he was extremely fantasy viable. Let's look at what Michael Thomas ranked as in his average depth of target in the last 2 years. He ranked at number 89 in 2019, his amazing year, and ranked as number 66 in 2020. Now, you just read off a lot of very interesting stuff, very fun stats that we can all say he did very well. He was extremely efficient in 2020 with the targets he got. He ranked very high in terms of target share. He ranked very high. All that's totally fine. He was still on pace for just over 1,000 yards. He's either going to get a running back at QB, or he's going to get a dude who can't throw down or who only throws down the field and makes his money down the field. Calvin Ridley, who is now in a much better situation than he was in last year, was number 1 in air yards, number 3 in air yard share, number 1 in deep targets, 2 in red zone targets, 6 in hog rate, number 1 in completed air yards, number 1 in uncompleted air yards, number 7 in yards per route run, number 5 in cushion, number 4 in dominator rating, and number 7 in ERA. That's what he did. Calvin Ridley is an absolute monster. And I don't see a way that we can take a 2 years younger player who produced like that and did that in an offense that is now removing a Hall of Fame wide receiver and put him over a player who is now getting, at best, a blind QB and at worst, a running back at QB. And we can give Taysom Hill all the credit we want. We can put that on Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill's 2 games where he was semi-good as a passer were those 2 games against Atlanta that I had mentioned. I can continue to hammer this into the ground, but I think this is pretty fair. So, Jacob, I've used your metrics that you like to use to show that Calvin Ridley is a higher-end wide receiver moving forward in Dynasty. Now I pass the floor on to you. You can continue your takes.
I love how sassy Billy just got. Like the sass was in full effect. All we needed was a finger snap. That's all we needed.
I'm 2 Bud Light Platinums down.
There we go. Oh, geez.
Wow.
He brought it.
That's
Jacob, last chance. Jacob, last chance. Send us home.
Look, everyone knows that coming into the league, I wasn't the biggest fan of Calvin Ridley. But that's okay. As a paragon of objectivity, I have realized the error of my ways, and I understand that Calvin Ridley is a fantastic wide receiver in the NFL. I would be happy to have him on my NFL team. I would be happy to have him on my fantasy team. However, just like Michael Thomas's 2019 route tree, Billy's argument is rather slanted. Anyway, let's look at Michael Thomas.
That was whack. That was bad.
Wow.
That was.
Come on.
Whoa.
All right. I'll go back on mute, but that was rough.
I was proud of that one. Jeez. Look, just because Michael Thomas had such an elite catch rate and was able to excel so much on slant routes through his 2018 and 2019 to the point that he became Slant Boy, does not mean that he can't actually win down the field with a quarterback who can actually throw. It's not his fault that he played with Teddy Too Scared and Drew Brees' fossilizing arm, who is
trying to win me over with the nickname.
Physically capable of throwing the ball further than 6 yards. What are you supposed to do? Drew Brees can only throw dump offs to Alvin Kamara and slant routes. So Michael Thomas went out and won on a lot of slant routes. If he was Traquan Smithing down the field for 40 yards, he wouldn't have been able to get the targets because Drew Brees literally can't throw them. But when you look at his reception perception, when you look at his metrics, you see that Michael Thomas is a complete wide receiver. He can win in the short areas of the field. He can win after the catch. He can win at the catch point. He was top 5 in the NFL in contested catch rate in 2019. You're telling me that with Jameis Winston, Michael Thomas can't run down the field and run a post route and win on a post route? That's a bunch of malarkey. He's one of the best route runners in the league. He's got some of the best hands in the league. It only expands his potential ceiling if he's able to expand his route tree. He was able to win, getting bracketed by corners as the only viable wide receiver when people knew he couldn't run routes longer than 15 yards because the quarterback wasn't able to throw them. If he has more opportunities to win, he's only going to be able to win in more ways. And as I mentioned with Odell Beckham Jr., with wide receivers that are as elite as Michael Thomas, and maybe Calvin Ridley will one day join this group, but wide receivers that are as vaunted
he's already there.
He's done it for one season. Wide receivers that have given multiple, 3 times, in Michael Thomas's case, 4 times, the top 12 wide receiver can perform at an elite level well into their 30s. We've seen this with Julio Jones. We've seen this with Antonio Brown, with Calvin Johnson. These guys stay elite for a long time. And Michael Thomas is in that vaunted tier. This is a Hall of Fame level wide receiver that's entering his age 28 season. You are virtually guaranteed that you're going to have 4 or 5 more years of Michael Thomas where he'll have opportunities to put up top 12 seasons, even top 5 seasons. And while I expect Calvin Ridley to be great, we already know Michael Thomas is great. And for a year and a half of age difference, for a guy who's still going to be able to provide that elite ceiling that we've already seen demonstrated for another 3, 4, 5 years, I would rather ride with Michael Thomas and chase upside elsewhere than go with Calvin Ridley, who has more uncertainty and hasn't proven that he's the elite level yet of Michael Thomas over the course of a full season. If you want to go with small sample sizes and extrapolating that to make your arguments over Calvin Ridley, go for it. But I'm going to ride with what I know. What I know is that Michael Thomas is one of the best wide receivers, if not the best wide receiver in the National Football League.
I do want to say a small sample size is not half a season, but
that's pretty small. 7 games versus
anyway,
4 years.
I will leave it alone, but 7 games is a sizable size. Anyway.
Sizable size. It's enough to say he's good. I'm not arguing Calvin Ridley's bad. I'm just saying I wouldn't take him over a guy who might be the best wide receiver on the planet.
Oh, okay, that's strong. Okay. Oh man, you guys are making it tough on me. Oh, this is tough. I too have to be a paragon of objectivity as I'm not in on Ridley. Oh man. Matt Ryan's career without Julio is not great. With Julio in the lineup, but that doesn't super matter if he's hyper targeting, but will he hyper target? Then there was the, Sean Payton may lean heavier on the running backs, which doesn't scream good things for Michael Thomas's targets. Oh man, it's tough. Who do I want more in Dynasty right now? Oh, you guys are killing me. This was great. This was absolutely fantastic. And I got, there's uncertainty on both counts. History's on Michael Thomas's side. This is really hard, but
come on, Tom. We're already past the hour mark.
I gotta side with Michael Thomas.
What the fuck?
This count.
No way.
Yeah.
No.
Look, the second best pass catching option is Marquez Callaway as outside of Alvin Kamara. There's no way Michael Thomas doesn't get a 28% target share, it looks like, in New Orleans. I don't care really who the quarterback is. Anyone can hyper target a wide receiver. And here's what I don't like about Ridley. For Dynasty purposes, there's more question marks with them at quarterback than there is in New Orleans moving forward. We know that after next year, the cap opens up in New Orleans, allowing them to retain whatever quarterback they want to, likely Jameis. And you're giving Jameis an option to work with one of the best coaches offensively in NFL history. It was Sean Payton. And I like to, and look, the age difference doesn't really matter to me, and you're getting him at a better place in drafts. For me, the true dynasty value here is for sure the proven target and production sustainability from MT13, Slant Boy himself. And
this is such a bad take.
Making my point. Jameis did get LASIK.
Billy, you can take this up on appeal, and you can also post a Twitter poll where you'll win like 90-10 and feel good about yourself.
I will gladly take this on appeal.
Look, if you want
at the end of the year, come back to me at the end of the year.
Look, we're gonna lock this one down. I think we're willing to take bets on this one. I know I am. I'm sure Jacob will be willing to take bets on this one.
I'll take bets on pretty much anything.
Look, I'm looking at not just this year.
Billy's posting a poll on Twitter right now.
No, sorry, my buddy has called me 3 times in the last 2 minutes, so I'm making sure he's not dying. Anyway, this is dumb.
Billy, you can state your appeal.
Look, it's. I understand.
I'll let him go. I'll let him do his thing.
Look, I understand that right now Calvin Ridley is the hot button, and I'm not going to do the comparing him to Juju thing with losing AB because obviously Ridley is a superior alpha style wide receiver, but Kyle Pitts showing up, and then Russell Gage, and then the Greek god of useless targets, Zacchaeus, and them running the ball with Mike Davis. We don't know.
Davis.
We don't know.
Mike fucking Davis.
Look at who the offensive coordinator is.
Objection, Your Honor. Objection, Your Honor.
We
Please
know
hold the prosecution in contempt.
that
He's
the
swearing
offense
at the
in New
judge.
Orleans is going to be good, and I will hold you in contempt.
The running back older than Michael Thomas. Oh,
doesn't matter. They're still going to hand him the ball. Look, I know what Michael Thomas is going to bring as an alpha with his target share and with what he can do because he's done it. Calvin Ridley still has those question marks to me, and I do think Michael Thomas is the superior wide receiver. I have to side with Michael Thomas in Dynasty, especially in startups right now, so you don't have to pay the same premium. And remember, Calvin Ridley was the most 33-year-old rookie to come into the NFL, right? You're not getting much value. You're not getting much value with age in this debate. So I'm taking the proven alpha wide receiver in Michael Thomas. I'm sorry, Billy. I know you're upset.
This is such a bad take. I can't believe this.
Okay, bet. What's the bet?
Yeah, let's put a bet on this.
Sure.
Okay, let's come up with a creative bet here. All right.
We got. Go ahead.
So let's just do this. I mean, we're not going to be able to do a payoff on a dynasty bet. But are you content to bet this year?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll gladly bet this year.
Okay,
100%.
so Michael Thomas versus Calvin Ridley. We'll do PPR. Do you want to do points per game or do you want to do overall?
Let's do
Let's
points
do
per
overall.
game.
No. We'll do overall. We'll do the whole thing.
Okay, I think that favors me, but okay.
I bet you do.
I don't care which one. Which one do you want, Billy? Overall or points per game?
Give me overall. That works.
Okay.
Overall, Michael Thomas versus Calvin Ridley, 2021. We'll say minimum, I don't know, 12 games or something. Just whatever.
Sure.
Someone tears an ACL week
That's
one.
fine.
Right.
Okay, what are our stakes? Let's make it something rather embarrassing.
Okay.
How about this? We bet drinks for our next draft show going in 2021 or 2022, I guess.
Yeah, but someone should have to it should be you have to drink something gross.
Yeah.
How about this? Okay, the winner gets to pick what the other person drinks for the entirety of next year's draft show.
Yep. Okay.
Deal.
So there it is. So the people via RTDB have spoken. The Paragons of Objectivity have favored in this matter Michael Thomas over Calvin Ridley. If you want to file an appeal, this is how you can do it. And listen up, because I have a feeling this is going to be the one. This might get more blowback than Pitts over Kelsey as the tight end one. Look, all you have to do is send us 4 sentences. Make it a mini paragraph, if you would. Send it via DM or tag to myself, to the guys, or better yet, the Dynasty Tilt Twitter account, and we will air it on next week's episode. We'll take the best ones if we get too many, and Jacob will have the opportunity to address them. I know Billy's upset. He feels a little defeated. I think he picked one he thought he'd
Don't worry,
get
the Bucks
here.
game will go better than this.
That's right. Bucks in 7. We're still with you, and we're still homies. He's muted.
So mad.
Muted himself. That's how mad he is. That was the people via RTDB. We're going to come back. We're going to send this thing off the right way. Thanks, y'all.